just yet, because obviously it is day one of the season, but Assault is or can tend to be a little bit more of a difficult map to make work on the attacking side. And if you kind of get your ult economy out of whack, if you let the defenders set up in position on that second point, then definitely things could be a little difficult. So for Mindfreak, objective right now is just to make sure that they cap out both of the points, regardless of how long it takes them, and then they can try and mount a very strong defense. That's, I think, where you're going to win this game.
Step one, complete phase one. So let's see how they go. You're going to push through right down the middle of the courtyard and onto the point to start things off. That right heart shield looking very, very low. Unfortunately for Mindfreak, Goops goes down early. And CKM, you can see up here with the Junkrat as well. Potential to do a lot of damage. And well, Mindfreak push to start things off is not going to go into their favor. Drop Bear is going to be getting a lot of ult economy out of this one.
Yeah, very nice stuff there from Drop Bears. Always kind of good to see something different. They've got themselves the Junkrat. CKM having a big impact on that. Being able to take down the Zenyatta initially does make it a lot more difficult to chunk through any of the tanks that Sydney Drop Bears do have. So Shoyo under no pressure at all. Huss displaying some pretty nice stuff there on the Hanzo as well. Here comes attempt number 2 from Mindfreak. But unfortunately, CKM's walked into the mine.
The CKM has thrown the mine on top of Goops. And Goops is blown up, and now Lasky's gone, and now Cool Whip's gone, and now everyone's going to have to reset. Mindfreak's going to have to try this one all over again. Look,
the thing I think
they almost got halfway there.
Goops has, I think, swapped off onto the Moira as opposed to the Zenyatta, just to have a little bit more survivability against this spam. Because obviously Zenyatta very, very immobile, but straight away he walks into another mine, and so unfortunately he didn't have any impact on this game at all. For Mindfreak, third time's the charm, perhaps, as they will make another way in.
For a pick here to make life a little bit easier. Oh man, look at this. Actually, Fracture gets rid of the Riptire, and CKM going to go down to Cool Whip. I feel like a lot of the team had been focused on the Junkrat. Huss brings one back, however. So they go to all of that work, but they won't get across the line. They won't find their way onto the point here, Jordan.
Punk as well, just deep diving all the way on to Ziff. We'll get that kill. So it's actually at the moment sort of like a 4v5 for the Sydney Drop Bears. It was a nice ultimate from Huss. There is the nano boost available for Bertlog as well. CKM onto the Doomfist. Rest in peace.
Trying to chase down this rollerblade. It got to feel bad, man. But he is nice and quick, CKM, with the Doomfist. And, well, all the kills going in favor of the Drop Bears again. 1:35 on the clock right now. Mindfreak with a couple more pushes on their side. We'll see, maybe this is their chance. The ultimate economy starting to slightly move across in favor of the attackers, at least for this attack. We'll see what they can do. Potentially, though, between a Kraken and Huss, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, Huss, he's going to be so difficult to punch through here, because as soon as Mindfreak really commit to something, there is going to be a dragon in their face. Here they go once again, and here comes the dragon.
Oh, dragon strike straight through the middle. Lasky down, Fracture down, Goops down. See you later. Goops the only one actually going to be going down to that ultimate. Kuwait picked up as well. 1 minute now remains on the clock. 1/3 of that remaining time was gone.
Yeah. I don't think you can commit to that little corner of the map. You can't go inside the building when you know that the opponent has got the Dragon Strike available, because it really is putting yourself into a choke point. The Dragon Strike going to be able to have so much of an impact there. A little bit of an error in my mind, at least from Mindfreak, in terms of the positioning. This time, though, they've wasted that. They didn't invest any ultimates in. To be fair, they still have time for another push, so it's not altogether too bad for Mindfreak, but they need to make sure they use their ults first here.
Between trance and self-destruction, the Drop Bears, we'll see what they can do on defense. Cool Whip has thrown out that grab surge, and Lasky, I think, tried to use the Earthshatter as well. I don't actually think he managed to find anyone self-destruct available here for Punk. We'll see when that gets thrown out. Sound barrier on attack right now for Mindfreak. Show you down, Huss down. This might be the opportunity. Self-destruct still not used now by Punk. CKM, Huss both picked up. Is he going to use it? Will use it on the point, but does go down.
Yeah, not looking like it's going to be a defense here for the Drop Bears, losing their players pretty quickly early on in the PC, but despite Lasky being unable to connect with the Earthshatter, Mindfreak have finally managed to get onto the point. They've finally managed to find a favorable fight that isn't out in the open, that doesn't allow Sydney Drop Bears to kind of kite them around a little bit, and they've actually managed to cap that first point up. Like I said, Ben, here for Mindfreak, they want to make sure that they cap both the points out. Unfortunately, life is going to be a little difficult for them, because they really had to invest everything to catch that first point, and now they're coming into this with not a whole lot left. Looking for Ziff to find an impact. CKM charging in there with the Meteor Strike. Won't have any kills going his way.
Not for now. I think I said Punk used the self-destruct before. As you can clearly see, not the case. Still has that available on point B on defense. And often we will see teams push through from attack from point A to point B with an advantage. Not this time around, as you said, Jordan. So that makes life particularly tough now for Mindfreak. And Goob's going to go down to Huss there, so less than ideal. The Drop Bears looking very comfortable here on defense on point B.
Yeah, very, very big forward hold right now. Bertlog looking for the Bionade. Won't be able to connect that one to get the anti-heal. At least I don't think so. But still the push is going to go forward from Sydney Drop Bears. They're doing exactly what they need to with this composition. Diving in, Shoyo being followed up by CKM. Punk in there as well. That's what this composition is designed to do, with Huss just firing away from relative safety. The same can be said for Bertlong, the same can be said for Kraken. So Drop Bears playing this out quite nicely indeed, but so far Mindfreak, they haven't really made a committed push just yet. This isn't what they're trying to do at the moment. What they're trying to do is they're trying to build their ultimates up so that they can actually have a chance to push in and get a big team wipe that would result in them picking up this second capture. But for now, Sydney Drop Bears have also done the same. The only one missing out really is CKM and Shoyo.
Well, we'll see what Lasky can do, pushing around the back onto the point with that big Reinhardt shield. Earthshatter also available. Everyone's staying clear at the moment, not able to use it. Zip, the first one going to go down there to Huss. That's a big pick for sure. Everyone from the Drop Bears still alive as well. Goobs, I thought was going down, but stays alive for now. CKM picked up. Huss finds Pliss. So I don't know, between this spawn advantage here for the Drop Bears, I don't know if Mindfreak have enough to get this across the line.
I don't think that they do at this point. However, Huss will go down. There's still a grab available here for Coolwood. We'll see if he decides to throw it out. Inevitably opting not to. I mean, there was not actually too much there from Mindfreak that they really ended up using.
No.
Resetting themselves here. CKM has jumped off the edge as well. I don't know if he's going to swap off that Doomfist or stay on it. Regardless, he's got the ultimate available. And Huss coming in here with the Dragon Strike as well, getting the flank on, trying to get the early poke damage out, looking for a nice pick here. That would be lovely. Doesn't look like it's going to eventuate. Would have been a fight won. Now that he's been sleep darted though, this is an opportunity for Mindfreak to just barrel in on top of him.
We'll see CKM with the Doomfist as well, ready to get in the middle. Throws out the Meteor Strike. Who are we going to find right on top of the Reinhardt? No, where are we? Stays alive, decides not to jump into the middle of the opposing team right about now. Mindfreak onto the point. You can see the sound barrier coming out from Fractured. We'll see whether that plays enough of a roll. Punk throws out the self-destruct over the top. Gonna find Fractured. Decent pick. Goops has gone down as well. No real supports left now for Mindfreak. Just Zip, who will go down. 30 seconds on the clock. Look, Jordan, to be fair, we saw this same thing on Hollywood. When Mindfreak has to go up against a team like the Drop Bears, a team who we know is very, very strong, as soon as you give the Drop Bears that advantage of being the defenders in that spawn advantage position, it's very tough for their opponents to get across the line. I
really like what Sydney Drop Bears did there. They saw the sound barrier come out from Mindfreak early. They all backed away. You could see the disengage. Then they re-engaged when the ultimate did wear off. Here comes the final fight, though, for Mindfreak. They have to make this one work.
One last attempt. You can see CKM already has the Meteor Strike available. Going to throw it right into the heart of his enemy this time around. Goobs and Fractured both picked up. We saw that before. When the supports go down, there's not much you can do. Mindfreak are very close, but I don't think it's going to be enough, Jordan. They'll take 90%, but I don't think they'll take any more.
Does not look like it to me, Ben. Overtime is going to tick away. Huss knows that it's done. BM a little bit there as Fracture tries to get onto the point, but in the end, nothing to be done for him. Sydney Drop Bears will hold strong on the second point. Like I said, always very, very difficult to get through the second point of assault. 90% though, that might be enough for Mindfreak if they can start off well, get a couple of decent holds here on that first point. Really what I want to see from Mindfreak is maybe not something necessarily too different. Just go with the standard fare, go with what you know works. And at the moment that is the GOAT's composition. Lasky hovering the Bastion. I'm not sure if that is really going to persist. Not with a composition like this when he is the main tank. I don't think that that's going to be the case.
Yeah, the main tank, Jordan. He turns into a tank.
Yeah.
You see how that works?
Well,
look, the real...
Time's ticking away, Ben, so if he was going to change, he would have changed by now. I guess we're going to deal with this Bastion and see how it works. Sydney Drop Bears, they might lose that first fight based on the surprise factor of the Bastion, but I think once they get the information, they will be able to adapt very, very quickly and deal with this, especially because there's no shield tank to cover off Lasky.
The real problem, I think, that the Mindfreak may face here is a team like the Drop Bears. If they get a roll on, as soon as they capture point A, they should be able to push through quite quickly onto point B. And whilst Mindfreak did manage to get 90%, an impressive 90%, to be fair, they never really looked like they were going to get it all the way through to 100 at any point there. So
yeah,
the Drop Bears just need to complete the map, don't need to make a second attempt.
While I am happy that Lasky has actually swapped off because I think it gives Mindfreak a better chance to win, I did want to see the Bastion. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that this time. And Sydney Drop Bears, again, with the Mountain Goats composition, Shoyo playing the Winston. Mindfreak do have the Reinhardt. That is the difference. And for Sydney Drop Bears, they just want to get through this choke. Punk taking the high ground.
We'll see what CKM can do here with this Brigitte up against the Reinhardt. As you said, coming through the choke, but straight away the Winston dives through. Shoyo into the back line, potentially onto the point. We'll see how that one plays out. Still alive, looking low. Going to get picked up there by Ziff in the end. The Brigitte going to cause a bit of a ruckus. And, well, the tank goes down. That's Lasky. He's been found out by Haas. And CKM pushing through, still at full health. The Drop Bears going to roll across Mindfreak, as we thought might be the case. Well, they're going to find these last kills and find the point. Big
problem there for Mindfreak is that they lost Cool Whip so early on in the piece, and in a composition like the Goats, you don't really have too much DPS if the Xayah is deleted, because that's where a lot of the damage does come from. So for Mindfreak, they weren't able to output much damage in in the direction of Sydney Drop Bears. Very, very quick cap out from Drop Bears, and now 90% is what they need to cap in just about 7 minutes. Also coming into the second point with a big ultimate advantage. We may see a bit of a slow fight out here from Sydney Drop Bears as they will look to charge up the ultimates just before they fully commit. But as soon as we see that the Graviton Surge or the Self-Destruct start to come up here, that's going to be the full commitment from Sydney Drop Bears.
We'll see what Goops and Fracture can do, however, with their ultis. Cool Whip, the first one down once again. That leaves Mindfreak with 5 players left alive. You can see that Goobs and Fracture have both used their support ultimate. So if this fight progresses, it's going to be a very, very tough battle for Mindfreak to stay alive. Punk and Shio both with ultimates still ready to go. Bertlog's used the sound barrier. CKM has thrown out that rally, and the Drop Bears are onto the point. They really did not need to use that much. Shio has gone down to the self-destruct coming out from Mindfreak, but look at this, they're all on the point, and they're doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, Hust is under absolutely no pressure at all either, as he just spams away with the left click on the Xayah, charged up to 80%. He is putting in some real damage right now onto the side of Mindfreak. Continues to push on forward. Graviton Surge now coming out as well, and that is going to be the cap for Sydney Drop Bears.
Certainly will. Hanamura going across. 2-1 to the Sydney Drop Bears. We did talk about this. We said if they picked up point A and did so convincingly, you get that roll-on effect. They managed to sort of sit out those defensive ultimates coming out from Mindfreak, and when they're all used up, easy peasy. Yeah,
I liked what we saw out from Bertlog as well toward the end of that map, playing very, very safely on the Lucio. As soon as the Shatter comes across from Lasky, straight away, the sound barrier comes down from the Lucio, and all of the Sydney Drop Bears players survive. It was a good Earth Shatter, to be fair, but not good enough to catch Bertlog. He's been very, very solid throughout this game, and I think the one thing about a main healer like, for example, Bertlog, is that if you don't notice them, they're doing their job well, and that's exactly what has happened so far today. Bertlog hasn't really made any mistakes from what I've seen. He hasn't gotten picked off. He hasn't missed an ultimate or anything like that. He's just been playing very, very, very solid stuff.
He certainly has, and Huss, well, we've talked about Huss quite a lot so far, but I feel like this meta really suits him, coming out on the Xayah, getting that Graviton Surge so very quickly. Look at that 80% energy as well. When you talk about Goats, as you said, when you talk about you require that damage, it's tough to find damage when your team comp is essentially tanks and supports. And, well, the Xayah can be very, very strong in that sort of environment.
Definitely. I mean, Cool Whip, you can tell, is definitely struggling at this point. He's been taken down early in quite a lot of the fights. Whether that is because he's using his bubbles incorrectly, as soon as you see a bubble and you're in a Goats composition, you see that Xayah bubble herself, that gets taken down, then the Xayah is essentially a free kill. You're just going to speed boost in and aim that Xayah. There's nothing that she can do to survive short of getting help from the teammates, but oftentimes that is not going to be enough. So for Cool Whip, I haven't necessarily noticed any like wasted bubbles or anything like that, but even sometimes it's the case if you're using your own bubble to build your own energy, then that can be a problem because it leaves you defenseless. So you need to kind of play around with that. You need to balance it at times, and maybe in this case, Cool Whip isn't quite being able to do that as well as what Huss is able to.
Yeah, it could even be a scenario where the Drop Bears are targeting Cool Whip, knowing how strong Huss is once you remove that Xayah from the opposing team. It's free reign. Well, we're going to move across to Route 66 now. Jordan, our escort map. This one, again, going to be picked by Mindfreak as they did lose Hanamura. Look, when we saw at Hollywood, when we saw that hybrid map type, there were some aspects of that were actually quite good for Mindfreak. And it certainly wasn't the first phase. It wasn't the control phase. So now that we move across to a game mode that's entirely payload-based, maybe this will suit them. Oh,
yeah, potentially. We'll see how it does end up going. I have to assume they'll be on the attack first, and indeed they are. Wonder if there is going to be a change-up on the defense. Doesn't look like it. City Drop Bears, once again, will be running goats. The Mountain Coat variation with Shoyo playing on the Winston. We haven't seen too much in the ways of a variety when it comes to team comp so far in this match. Mindfreak just being outmatched when it does come to this brawly sort of battle.
Look, it's pretty tough here, and I want to see Mindfreak come out of their first game in Contenders against the top team in the region with a map win.
Yep.
So they're going to do that. They're going to need to pick up Route 66.
Sydney Drop Bears, they're not setting up on Big Earls. They've decided to push on forward, playing very, very aggressively, and they might stop the payload right where it begins.
We'll see whether this plays out in the way they want. Zip, the first one, going to go down to Haas. Haas, again, the one doing the damage. Lasky found out as well. Mindfreak going to have to drop back into the diner, have a break, have some pie or something, and try again.
Yeah, I want to see where a Kraken is set up here, because if he's able to situate himself on the high ground toward the back of this road, up on the bridge there, then it can be very difficult for Mindfreak to deal with. They're not going to be able to get to him, and if they can't get to him, well, look at where he is right now. They can't. They can't deal with the Kraken, and if they can't deal with him, they can't deal with the Drop Bears. He's going to be able to put up so much damage. The Discord Orbs, of course, such a big, impactful part of this team composition as well for Sydney Drop Bears, and they're holding things very, very strong at the moment. The ultimate's building up here for Huss and Punk. We're going to see that combo come out once again.
It's really just quite rude, to be honest, coming out from the Drop Bears, holding Mindfreak out towards spawn. Mindfreak going to try and push around the right-hand side for now, but they're finding it very difficult to deal with anyone here on the Drop Bears lineup. Goop's going to be the first one going down. Ziff low, Fractured picked up as well.
Yeah, that is the power of Brigida.
See ya.
Not too fun at all when you get caught off.
Use a trance, and you'll take a look at their ultimates, Jordan. You take a look what the Drop Bears have used. Not much. They're going to have 5 ultis ready for this next fight.
Absolutely. Mindfreak there, they've only just come up on their first. The second now as well, popping for Fractured. A little bit more of a committed push perhaps here from Mindfreak. And they might try and buy some time. Oh, another great little eat there from Pliz, as we do see Hustler's Graviton Surge go straight into the defense matrix.
Maybe this is the chance that Mindfreak needed. You can see their ultimates now are all on their side. They can find the kills that they need. This might get the payload moving. Certainly something they need to do. 150 on the clock. You can hear the rally has popped as well. Police is looking low, almost going to get DMX staying alive for now. Sound barrier coming out on the side of the Drop Bears, coming out from Bertlog. CKM goes down. Lasky picked up as well. Mindfreak uses a sound barrier. Nice work from Fractured, doing what he can to keep the team alive. Normally you'd say the longer this goes, the more it would suit the attacking team being so close. To the looks of things, going to be the case. They're finally onto the payload. 80 seconds on the clock. This time, they've got to get their gear in.
Yeah, but I mean, in all that time, look at how far Mindfreak have been able to push it. They're only rounding the first bend right now. Typically, this is where we start to see the first fight start, but Mindfreak only have a minute left, and they're only just now at Big Earls. This is typically where Sydney Drop Bears would decide to defend ordinarily. And now they're actually going to have a chance to do that. So let's see what Mindfreak can do. Grav is out again from Haas.
Oh, there's the self-destruct over the top. Won't find anyone with the self-destruct, but literally the rest of the team goes down when you have to flip that Reinhardt shield behind. It opens you up, opens up that soft-centered Jordan for the rest of the team to gobble you up. They've all been devoured.
Yeah, very yummy for Sydney Drop Bears, as Mindfreak do fall by the wayside once again. 33 seconds on the clock here. Mindfreak are going to get only one more push in here. It's really all going to rely on Lasky with the Earth Shatter to start this one off well. If he gets denied, if he gets booped by CKM with the shield bash, big problems going to be coming here for Mindfreak.
One last push, 16 seconds on the clock. As you said, what can Lasky do? Well, Goobs is down. I thought Ziff was going to go down as well. Staying alive for now. CKM has popped a rally. The Drop Bears looking strong. Ziff picked up. Lasky down.
They don't even get it up.
DMEC. So 55.35 meters, Jordan, is what they'll achieve.
Kraken is just an aimbot at this point with the Zenyatta. He's fragging out, a fragging machine. He started off that fight perfectly by taking down Goobs, who was very close to the Transcendence. That's a big, big part of the success there for Sydney Drop Bears, and that is a very, very one-sided defense from Sydney Drop Bears. They don't have far to go at all, and they might just get this done in, what, the first 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, I think Mindfreak won a single fight in that particular matchup. However, as we said, it's a very tough opponent to come up against.
Yeah, it is the toughest opponent that you could come up against. Yeah. For Mindfreak, they're probably, I would say, considered the weakest team in Overwatch Contenders AU this season, being that none of them have played Overwatch Contenders before. And to go up against Sydney Drop Bears in your first match, that is very, very unfortunate. There's not much that you can say about it for Mindfreak. Like, it is what it is, right? You got to do what you got to do. But they were not expected to get much on the board today. I think actually what they have been able to do is still pretty reasonable, being able to have some close games on Busan, have a fairly close game on Hollywood. All in all, it feels to me like Mindfreak have put in a good attempt here, but they were never supposed to be able to challenge Sydney Drop Bears. Yeah,
a lot of good takeaways so far, I think, for Mindfreak. And, well, to be honest, Jordan, if you're going to get, you know, a bit of a lesson in how to play Overwatch, you may as well get it at the start of the season so you can see what your weaknesses are, see what they've sort of used against you, and use that to adapt and improve. They've got all of the rest of the season to push through. We're looking, you know, Season 3, a lot of it, you want to do as well as you can. You want to make sure that you're there for Season 1 next year as well. So I think a great opportunity here for Mindfreak to push through the season. Let's see what they can do here now on defense on Route 66. They won't be trying the same strata, will they? There we go, straight over the top. A little bit of the Drop Bears' own medicine here. Great to see.
Yeah, Drop Bears are expecting this, though. They've got the Farah there for CKM. Huss on the Sombra. And look at this. CKM completely untouched. He's up to 70%. Might even build an ult off this first fight. There's no one that can do anything about CKM. And with those new Farah changes, if you're landing direct hit rockets, your DPS is technically increased. I feel like he barely missed a shot there. And so Mindfreak are going to fall by the wayside straight away. They'll have to deal with a rocket barrage in this next hold, if they even get a next hold, and they're going to be trickling onto that point. Sydney Drop Bears, at this point, in my mind, have more or less won this game.
So untouched, they may as well be a Veronica song, Elfishguy. Pushing through Big Girls, almost up to the 55-meter mark. That's what we're looking for, and CKM has that rocket barrage ready to go. 3, 2, 1, throws it out over the top. Pliss goes down, but cool whip, nice work, finds CKM. Huss goes down, Lasky picked up. I don't think there's much the Drop Bears can do, sorry, that Mindfreak can do up against this Drop Bears lineup. But look, that's what happens when you get in so close there with the Farah, Jordan, and the rocket barrage.
CKM's killed himself again. He died twice in this fight, but that's all good. Mindfreak are going to be disappearing very, very shortly. It is now just the trickle here as Diva jumping onto the cart. It'll take a little while to get rid of Shoyo, deciding to pop the Primal to keep Lasky out of position. And there's no one that can touch the cart. So Sydney Drop Bears will secure a 4-0 to start off Overwatch Contenders Season 3, and they start off where they finished off, being able to continue the undefeated run here in Overwatch Contenders.
Yeah, big congrats to the Drop Bears. A very new lineup for them of very experienced players. For Mindfreak, look, it's a tough start to their Contenders debut, but as we said, look, if you're going to go up against the best, you may as well do it at the start of the season. A lot to take away, a lot to learn, and hopefully a lot of time to work towards end of season.
That's all what it's about right now for Mindfreak. They are the newest team in the region, at least in AU Contenders, and they should be using this as a learning experience. Not every day that you get to go up against a team like Sydney Drop Bears. On the other side of the coin, though, for Huss and CKM, a very nice welcome into the AU Contenders. Obviously, this is their first game in this region. They did play Pacific before this. Would have been Trill's first as well, but unfortunately, we do not get to witness that here in AU Contenders anymore. Very good for him, obviously, but for us, I'm a little bit unhappy in a sense. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see how dominant Sydney Drop Bears could have been had they had Trill. Not to say that they won't be dominant anyway, but it would have been a sight to behold, I feel.
Look, I think they've got enough good players to get them through the season. I want to see who will be able to take it to them? What are we going to see from other teams? What can they learn from playing against this very, very impressive lineup? As you said, a team that we've essentially seen in the Overwatch World Cup.
Yeah. Well, you look across the rest of Group A. I mean, they've already defeated Mindfreak. To be fair, that's what we expected. I don't really see a team in there that could actually challenge Sydney Drop Bears at this point. Blank and Atletico might be the ones that have the best chance, but at the moment, Atletico, a very, very new roster. The same can be said for Blank. Again, we'll talk about those teams later on today because those are the matches that we're going to be watching. But 4-0 today to start things off for Sydney Drop Bears, and I feel as though for the majority of these matches, it could really be a potential for Sydney Drop Bears to do it again, get that 20-0.
That's a big call, Jordan.
Imagine for like a Kraken and for Burtlog to be able to go through Season 2 and Season 3 undefeated. That would be 40 maps of Overwatch where they wouldn't have lost a game. Now they're now at 24 in terms of the regular season. They lost in playoffs. They lost a map in playoffs to Serenity. They lost a couple of maps to Sydney Drop Bears in the grand finals. But by and large, when we look at the regular seasons here for Sydney Drop Bears, you know, 24 maps uncontested at this point from Season 2 to Season 3. It's looking pretty good.
Well, Elfishguy, a new season of Contenders. It means it's time for our Macca's play of the game. Let's take a look at what it will be. McDonald's Australia play of the game between the Drop Bears and Mindfreak. No surprise, it's us.
Yeah, this was a great play, being able to sneak around with the Graviton Surge. And I think Huss deservedly was the MVP of today for the Sydney Drop Bears. Of course, all of the players had a pretty good performance, but Huss definitely had a phenomenal performance across the board. There wasn't a single map where I felt like he was having even below a top-tier performance on that Zaya. He was able to put out so much damage, have so many Graviton Surges, and definitely showed his experience, for example, in comparison to someone like Cool Whip. That is the power of Huss, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that throughout this season.
The power of a strong Zaya in this GOATS comp as well, Elfishguy. So congratulations to Huss, our first Macca's Player of the Game winner for Season 3 here in Contenders Australia. And well, to be fair, that game did go how we thought it would. A bit of a tough battle for the new team Mindfreak coming through up against the experienced players in the Drop Bears. Elfishguy, you're saying it's going to be a big 20-0 season for them. That is
I said it could be.
No, you're saying... No. You say...
All right, look, let's put it on the record. Sydney Drop Bears, they're going to 20-0 this season. Said by Elfishguy. Someone can clip me at the end of the season when they get the 20-0.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, Elfishguy, that is our very first match done and dusted. Coming up, it's going to be match number 2. It's Kraken up against Blank Esports. It's going to be a Kraken of a game. We'll see you soon.